Hey Internet, we need to talk about something important. As I'm sure you already know, because you can hardly watch the news or log on to social media without hearing about the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent protests going on all over the place, I felt it was important to talk about that. And I haven't really done that up till this point because, quite honestly, it felt a little bit hypocritical. Let me explain to you what I mean about that. First of all, I want to start off by saying that racism or any other form of bigotry is absolutely, completely wrong and horrible and terrible. And in the 21st century is quite honestly inexcusable. I mean, come on. The reason I felt it was hypocritical of me to address this is this. Up until recently, I have been a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, more commonly known as the Mormon Church. About a year ago, however, I resigned, for reasons I don't want to get into in this video because this isn't really about Mormonism, it's about racism. However, this video was prompted by an address made by Russell M. Nelson. For those of you who don't know, Russell M. Nelson is the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a position in the church which to a Mormon is equivalent to what the Pope would be to a Catholic. I considered reading this address and commenting on it, but I just can't get through it without the hypocrisy of it making me want to flip a table. So I'll just link it so you can read it for yourself, and I'm just going to tell you why it upsets me. Now, in this talk, he said some very wonderful sounding things where he condemned racism and called on anyone who is to repent. Sounds great, right? The problem is that for a very, very long time, the LDS Church had some very racist policies, specifically against people who were black. Now, these policies were reversed before I was ever born, although not that long before, but I did know about them. Now, I knew about these policies, but I didn't like to talk about them or even think about them really because they made me really uncomfortable, and rightly so. Now, admittedly, as a straight white male, there were a number of church policies that I had the luxury and the privilege of being able to just not really think about. The long and the short of it is that until 1978, if you were black, the church considered you ineligible to receive the priesthood, which means that there were a number of saving ordinances that you simply couldn't receive, and you would essentially never be able to reach the highest level of heaven. Now, of course, in 1978, they reversed this ban and started doing proxy ordinances for the dead for anyone who hadn't had the opportunity to have them done while they were alive, so they could get into heaven. But there are two things they didn't do. Number one is they never apologized for it, and number two, they never even admitted that it was wrong in the first place. And regardless, despite the reversal, there were a countless number of people who believed that simply because of the color of their skin, they were ineligible to get to the highest degree of heaven. And I can't even begin to fathom what that must have been like. And the worst part for me anyways, is that despite the fact that I didn't like thinking or talking about this, I'm ashamed to admit that when confronted about it, I, on a number of occasions, defended it. Which was absolutely wrong, and I can't even begin to explain to you how horribly I feel about that. And so I don't feel that I can sit here and tell you Black Lives Matter without acknowledging that element in my past. I have always believed that racism is wrong, but unfortunately, I was part of an organization that didn't always feel the same way. A fact that, quite honestly, I regret every day. I just don't know what to say beyond I'm sorry, and that I just hope that as a society we can do better. We can do better. Racism's just frickin' stupid. Anyway, thanks for hearing me out.